Clay Smith is in our Storm Alert Center this afternoon. A few minutes ago, we heard from Dallas Payton over in Meigs County looking over some of the damage there. Do we know for sure exactly what hit Meigs yesterday?
Yeah, that's right, David. It has now been confirmed as an EF0 tornado, and this had upwards of 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts. There was only one injury, fortunately no fatalities, and this started right at 11:50 yesterday morning and ended right at 11:51. So this was only on the ground for 1 minute and less than a half a mile long. Started right at the corner of Sharp Road and Highway 58 and came to an end just south of Crestview Lane, and of course that is really close to the town of Decatur. So this was a confirmed tornado, but again, fortunately there were no fatalities and only one minor injury. So that's just a summary of yesterday, the only confirmed tornado, at least in southeast Tennessee. If we have any more of these surveys come through, of course, we'll keep you updated on that. But now we're transitioning over to the winter side of things. We have winter weather advisories in effect for portions of the Cumberland Plateau, including Bledsoe, Van Buren, Grundy, and Sequatchie counties, also North Georgia and portions of western North Carolina. In fact, this advisory was expanded to include eastern Polk and Clay County, and of course, you have the winter storm warnings for the highest elevations in portions of Tennessee and western North Carolina. So most of the snow has been in the higher elevations. We may have a flurry or two try to sneak into the valley. Really not expecting too much in the way of accumulations in places like Fayette, Cleveland, Dayton. But later this evening, we may have a little burst of snow come through. There could be a dusting in isolated spots along the valley, but the best chance, of course, for the accumulations where the snow's been falling for much of the afternoon in Grundy, Marion, northern Sequatchie, and Van Buren County. So if you're watching in any of those areas, let us know how much snow you have. We had one of our sky watchers call in with nearly an inch in Monteagle, and that was earlier this afternoon. So we'll continue to kind of pull in some of those snow totals as we get them this evening. But here's a look at the weather maker. Again, you can see that snow all the way from Kentucky into portions of southeast Tennessee and western North Carolina. You have that northwest flow event, and this is going to continue to drop to the south. So we'll have additional snow at least through about midnight. Fortunately, the roads are all right. I took a trip up into Grundy County earlier near Palmer and kind of cut through Coalmine, and the roadways were wet, but there were no slick spots yet. Again, we've been very warm for the first part of January, so it's going to take a while for some of these roads to become slick, but it will happen, especially after sunset. We lose that daytime heating. Temperatures drop well into the 20s along the Cumberland Plateau, so we're going to start to have those issues in the Marion, Sequatchie, and Grundy counties, and then back into portions of the Blue Ridge Mountains. So that's something to consider, especially if you live in Ellijay, Blue Ridge, in and around Murphy, Monteagle, Dunlap, into Cagle Mountain, Pikeville, down into parts of northeast Alabama. That's where we're going to have the issues, and some major issues along the Tennessee-North Carolina line and those elevations above 4,000 feet. But temperatures here in the valley are still well above freezing. So even if we do have some flurries fall, not expecting any accumulations unless temperatures drop very dramatically after sunset. But the coolest spots, of course, are in Altamont, Monteagle, up into Cagle Mountain, where temperatures are below freezing. Even back into Blue Ridge and Murphy, temperatures are still pretty modestly in the mid-30s. So, of course, after sunset, we will have temperatures drop below freezing in some of these areas, and that's when we're going to have to really pay close attention to some of the roadways. But here's LakeToMissionRidge.com cam. It's pretty breezy here in Chattanooga, but overall we haven't had too much moisture falling from the sky. Temperatures will continue to fall into the 30s, and as we track out the rest of that snow, again, any additional accumulation is going to be in the higher elevations. Notice some of those bands try to sneak into the valley later on this evening, and then by Saturday morning we're going to have that snow starting to taper off here across the Tennessee Valley, making for a really nice extended weekend. Of course, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is on Monday, and that's when we're going to have those rain chances return, and it looks like a soggy, mild week is in store for next week. David?